Hi BookTube! I'm here with another tag. These are easy videos to film for Vlogmas, so why not do a bunch of them? But this one is really cool. It's about the Wheel of Time series, and it's actually a document that I found, so I'll link that down below with all the questions. And let's just get right into it. So, first question, how did you first hear about the Wheel of Time, and what made you want to read the series? So actually, one of my friends in high school was reading the series, and I kind of, you know, put it in that list in your brain that you kind of keep of books that you want to kind of check out eventually. You know, I saw how much she was enjoying it, and she'd just like be sitting there reading while we're all talking and messing around, and she was reading this book, and I was like, this would be a really good book. And I was interested in reading some classic fantasy. And I don't really know if it would be considered classic at that point. I think it was still being published, actually, but I consider it a classic now. And I finally stumbled upon the audiobooks about 10 years later, and I was like, oh right, I remember my friend really liking that series. Let's start it, and I'm so glad I did. Yeah, 10 years after we graduated, I finally started reading it. Question 2. If you had the chance to join an Aja in the White Tower, which one would you join? And then based on which one you pick, we have to answer a corresponding question. Or I could do them all. I just did one. I'm assuming you know the basics of the Wheel of Time, what Ajas and the White Tower and everything is at this point. So I would join the Brown Aja, which is devoted to knowledge and the collection of ancient wisdom, and they tend to lock themselves up in their towers to study. And the question is, favorite piece of lore or world building? Oh, I also chose the Brown Aja because Varen, one of my favorite characters, is Brown Aja. You know why I did that if you've read the whole series. References, what I really like are references to our present day Earth. So Wheel of Time actually takes place in our future. You know, a lot of fantasy tends to take place in, like, inspired by the past, but the Wheel of Time actually takes place in our future. Like, for example, they find a Mercedes-Benz logo. They find a thing and they say, a silvery thing in another cabinet, like a three-pointed star inside a circle, was made of no substance she knew. It was softer than metal, scratched and gouged, yet even older than any of the ancient bones. From 10 paces she could sense pride and vanity. And that is the Mercedes-Benz logo. Or for example, they reference people like John Glenn. You know, tell us about Len, Egwene called, how he flew to the moon in the belly of an eagle made of fire. Tell about his daughter Salia, walking among the stars. So I like those references to our time. You have to read closely to get them, but they are there. Number 3, this contains spoilers. So up to Lord of Chaos. So I'm just going to hold up my hand like this, and when that's done, when my hand comes down, is when the spoiler is over. So, if the Black Tower had Ajas, what might some of them be? I said there'd be like a warrior Aja, like dedicated to just fighting. There'd be the research Aja, of course, you know, to discover new weaves and to research more about being the male Aes Sedai. There'd be an Aja for men that want to work with the female Aes Sedai, and an Aja dedicated to working against the female Aes Sedai, or maybe like kind of keeping them in check, you know, kind of like a male version of the Red Aja. And I think actually if the Black Tower and the White Tower kind of got together, it'd just be like a natural divide of like where people want to specialize on. Spoilers over, if you haven't read Lord of Chaos. Question 4. Who's a character you love but would hate to meet in real life? Matt. I love reading about Matt. He's so fun and entertaining to read about him pranking other people and joking around with other people, but I wouldn't like to be the victim of one of his pranks or jokes. And I think his constant luck would get annoying too. I think he'd get annoying to me real fast, to actually hang around in person, but reading about him is great. Question 5. Who's a character from another book that would make a good warder? And I went with Tao from The Rage of Dragons because he's almost like a warder already. He's very loyal, he's willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, he's a super cool warrior and fighter, really talented. The problem comes in where I don't think he'd take lightly to being bonded, but perhaps if it was a willing choice on his end, so if he chose the Aes Sedai to be bonded with, I think it would work really well. Question number 6. What's a scene from the books you're most excited to see on screen? I think the ways. I think seeing that done on the screen would be really interesting. Whether they're like how dark it's gonna be and how they're gonna do all the weird paranoia stuff that's gonna happen. I'm also really interested to see how like Loyal is gonna be portrayed in the other Ogiers and their language, because they sing their magic, which is really cool. And just seeing all the different cultures and everything portrayed on camera, I think would be really cool. Question number 7. What are your favorite and least favorite book covers? So I have 2 favorites because there's 2 different versions of the covers. So my favorite is from the Sweet covers, done by the guy named Sweet. I can't remember his first name. It's the Path of Daggers. I just love that kind of statue head on the end there, and then the parade of people. But in the newer towers, in the newer covers, Towers of Midnight with Perrin's axe on fire is just amazing. That's done by Raymond Swanland. My least favorite is probably a lot of people's least favorites, and that's the Knife of Dreams, because like, who is that person? Who is that person? Who is that person? I don't know who any of these people are. They don't match any of the character descriptions. It just seems like a bunch of random people all in different proportions. Yeah, I don't really like that one. Number 8. What is a location in the Wheel of Times you'd like to visit? And I would like to visit the Steadings, I think, because it just seems so peaceful and calm and unhurried, and I'd really like that, just to go somewhere and just like chill and have no real responsibilities for a little while and just kind of like not have to worry about too much, and you know, being around these really calm, peaceful people. I think it would be really nice. Question 9. If you could make your own Tiangrial, what would it look like and what would it do? So I would make a Tiangrial. I'm probably not saying that right, I know. That is a bag, and it holds a portal to like a library or a warehouse that is otherwise inaccessible. Like, there's no doors to this place. This bag that I'm holding is the only doorway into it. So I can like take everything, like I could take a whole room or like a warehouse with me, and as a member of the Brown Aja, that would be super helpful. Like, you know, I could still go out and you know, do things in the world, but I'd still always have access to my books and, you know, whatever I'm studying. I think that would be really cool. Number 10. What's another book or series you think Wheel of Time fans might like? And I think in regards to writing and in regards to intense battles between good and evil, I'd have to recommend the Funavar Tapestry by Guy Gavriel Kay. Guy Gavriel Kay actually wrote these after working with Christopher Tolkien to put together the Silmarillion. So like, this guy knows his stuff. Like, he knows his fantasy and he knows how to world build. And it's a portal fantasy in that we have people from like our real world. I think it's Toronto actually, because he's Canadian. Students at a university there get transported to this other world, and just the people, there's not as many cultures as there are in Wheel of Time, because I mean there's only 3 books as opposed to 14, 15 books, right? But yeah, and they go there and they learn about the world and get involved in this battle against good and evil. And I think readers of Wheel of Time would really like that. So that is the accepted test, the Wheel of Time tag. Let me know how you'd answer some of these questions, and thank you for watching.